Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the differences, the similarities, basically the things that you're going to need to understand that make the Redbubble platform different than the TeePublic platform. Now, on the surface, everything looks somewhat similar, right? You can upload designs to the same platforms, you could do all these things, but really the difference comes down to it when it comes down to income. Why is it that some people generate hundreds and thousands of dollars on TeePublic, but can't generate any income on Redbubble? Why is it that people generate hundreds of dollars on Redbubble, can't generate a penny on TeePublic? Well, it comes back to the very first point of concern, which is this is the very first thing that I'm saying, is that TeePublic and Redbubble are completely two different platforms. If you treat them the same, if you start tagging the same, and you start expecting that these platforms are going to perform the same, you're really shooting yourself in the foot and you're selling yourself a lie. So what we're going to do is we're going to break these down. Of course, if you guys want to know more about any of these two platforms, we are going to do the plug. We're going to plug our TeePublic course. For everybody who does not know, we just performed an update yesterday night to the course. We added an extra 9 videos. With those 9 videos, we added 2 brand new segments, and then we added the extra video in one of the other segments that had already existed. We're still going to be adding updates to this course, the TeePublic course. So if you want to learn more about TeePublic and you actually want to be successful with TeePublic, maybe this course is going to be for you. Maybe it's not. Regardless, you come to the website, you play the video, you watch what you need to watch to learn exactly what it takes to essentially get good at TeePublic. Now the thing is, guys, with TeePublic, and since we're talking about TeePublic versus Redbubble essentially, what you want to understand is that Redbubble is a little bit different, right? At least with the courses, the way that we arrange them. And like I said, this is a plug, so, I'm not shameful to plug here. The Redbubble tag course is where you're going to learn the Redbubble tagging, the SEO, the market, all that kind of stuff behind the scenes with Redbubble. Now with Redbubble, a lot of the things that a lot of people were saying, how on earth are you producing 60 designs a day? How are you tagging for the designs? How are you titling for the designs? What are you doing exactly? Because we just don't even have the time to do all of this. So that's when the POD design course came out, primarily made for Redbubble. So if you need help with either tagging on Redbubble, getting seen through SEO, whether it be through the Google search engine or the Redbubble search engine, the Redbubble tag course is for you. If you need help with the design aspect and you need to just learn how to produce more work without having to waste hours and hours and hours doing niche research, this course is going to be for you, the POD design course. And if you're looking to get into TeePublic with a mixture of not only design, but a lot of tagging, niche research kind of aspect, the TeePublic course is going to be for you. Now, the TeePublic course, yes, it is only one course, but it combines the concepts of multiple courses into one. So I just figured I'd say that. Now, speaking of the update that we performed yesterday, we added some content around Google SEO. We also added some other content that I don't want to mention here and now. The members can easily access. Just go ahead and click on this sign me in button. You'll get access to all the content, and there's more content that's going to be added. Okay, so we're not done with that. I wanted to get that, clear and get it right out of the way so that when we get into the video, we can actually talk about these different concepts. Now, I suppose that this little mini series will be a few episodes. It's not going to be just one episode. So let's go ahead and talk about relevancy. So something that I want you guys to understand when it comes to Redbubble and when it comes to TeePublic, the main algorithmic function is exactly the same, and it focuses on relevancy. When I perform a search for TeePublic and when I perform a search for Redbubble, you have different things that contribute to what's going to rank first, second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. Okay? So let's just say somebody performs a search for fish on Redbubble. Well, Redbubble, because of the data that it has acquired in the past, because of sales data, because of a lot of different things, favorites, right, per image, it can acquire this data and it can rank the images. If you look here, there are 575,000 results on the keyword fish when it comes to Redbubble. Well, how is it that Redbubble knows how to place the exact design in its exact location every single time? If we go ahead and refresh this, you could see here the top 5 designs did not change. It's in the exact same order. Well, there's a reason behind this, right? And I could go ahead and refresh this again, right? Clearly it changed a little. Let's go ahead and change this. right? Didn't change here. So why is it that the designs, the order of the designs, can be relatively similar almost every single time? Why is that? Now, if you notice, while I was refreshing, this number did change. Now, like I said, why is it that the order is relatively the same? Well, it's because the platform works based on relevancy. It goes the same for TeePublic. If I search the keyword fish in TeePublic, right, we have this design in the first 3. Let's just say these top 6, top 9. Let's go ahead and reload. And you can see here it's the exact same thing. Why is that? Well, when TeePublic, when Redbubble, they work on the same algorithmic kind of concept. When designs are ordered from the top all the way to the bottom, there's a few categories of what controls this algorithm. And the algorithm is based on simply a numerical value. So when designs get more favorites than others, i.e. Redbubble, right? When they get more favorites, they're more prioritized. When they get more sales, they're also more prioritized. But when their keywords are specifically chosen based on relevancy, that will also contribute to the order of when they come up. I'll give you an example. If we go over here to the most relevant section, we have a set number or a set design kind of strategy. We have this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, right? If we go over here to best selling, that order is going to change, right? You can see here now we have this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Now, based on the keyword fish, we can assume that all these designs, whether it be in best selling, whether it be in newest, are most relevant, trending, etc. As long as there's a keyword searched, they all contain the concept of fish, whether it be in their tags, right? Whether it be in a long tail tag, whether it be in a short tail tag, it's still considered in the tags. Well, we can assume the exact same thing for TeePublic. This is relevancy. This is how things appear. But once again, how is the order determined? Well, the order begins by the concept of relevancy. When a design has a certain set keywords in its tags, that means the design fits a certain criteria. And because of that criteria that it fits, it's not going to pop up or it's not going to show for certain keywords, at least on the first page or the second page, etc. If you notice, there are some individuals that can use spam tagging methods, yet their designs show up to the top. And it's because the system is not an artificial intelligence system, but it's simply a relevancy-based system. So, for example, let's just say out of the 575,000 results, let's say we pay attention to the first 500 pages. And out of the first 500 pages, let's go ahead and click on this design, and let's use this design as an example. Let's just say out of the first 500 pages, the keyword fish, the keyword fisherman, and the keyword fishing is all in the first 500 designs. Well, based on that, because of relevancy and because of probability, Redbubble inherently knows, as an algorithm, we're not talking about a person here, we're talking about a machine, that it's likely that any design related to the concept of the keyword just solely fish, assuming that all of the designs for the first 500 pages contain those 3 keywords, any new design, right, should contain those 3 keywords to get somewhere naturally placed in the higher ranks once created. Now, high ranks will differ from niche to niche to niche to niche. For some niches, they're going to be so saturated, they have millions of designs, that once you create a new design, you're going to end up on page 70. For other niches, you might end up on the first page. It just depends on the amount of results that exist. Well, this concept is the exact same thing for TeePublic, and I'm not speaking on this based on my assumption. This is just fact, right? It works the exact same way. And I could prove this with TeePublic because the TeePublic concept shows relevancy and controls relevancy because of their, I guess you could say, their algorithmic nomination strategy. So I'll explain what that means, because that sounds like a lot of jargon. Let's go ahead and go to a keyword or a design, that's not on the first page. Let's go to a design that's, let's say, on page 26. Let's go ahead and do that. Well, based on the numbers alone, a design on page 26, based on the assumption that we've developed, the hypotheses that we developed, is not going to have the same keyword relevancy to the keyword fish than a design on page 1. We can agree with that. Well, we can go ahead and select some random designs. Let's go ahead and select this one, select this one, select this one, and select this one, and let's even select this one. Now you can see here the concepts of these designs are more than just the concept of fish. We have a concept of love diving, right? Driver diving, fisherman rubber ducky. We have a common clownfish. We have educational but important fishing guide or whatever. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these tags. We can see here the keyword fish exists, but so does other keywords that don't necessarily relate to the keyword fish. We have the keyword duck, we have the keyword ducky, the keyword ducks. Now, if we did just a search on TeePublic of what kind of designs exist for a keyword duck, for example, you can see here that these designs have absolutely nothing to do with the keyword fish, and justifiably so, right? We search the keyword duck, these are the designs that come up. So with TeePublic's algorithmic strategy, it has to form almost like a middle ground somewhere for the designs that don't necessarily contain high relevancy, but contains content from other type of keywords. And when an individual searches for fish, right, they're expecting a certain kind of result. They're not looking for ducks. They're not looking for things that are related to ducks in any kind of way, right? So what TeePublic is going to do, Redbubble is going to do in a situation like this, is they're going to assess the keywords in totality in terms of the relevancy that they have amongst each other. So let's take this situation again. We have fish, ducks, ducky, ducks, ducky, and we compare all the amalgamation of all these keywords to the amalgamation of, let's say, the first 100 or the first 200 designs for the keyword fish. And we could see that there really is a large barrier of separation in terms of relevancy between, once again, the top 100, the top 50, the top 200 designs, the keyword fish, and let's say the other 500 or the other 1,000, which basically comes to the assertion that when a design contains keywords that are less relevant, right, in the tags, it is fair to assume that when the searched keyword is presented, these secondary tags or these other tags will cause that design to not rank at a high level for those tags. This is why sometimes in the course we outline the concept of relevancy, and we say sometimes less is more. We have spoken about this in the Redbubble course, and I've had people ask me questions through email and say, how come I don't rank for this, or how come I don't rank for that? Once again, sometimes less is more. If you're trying to rank for a certain keyword, right, and what we call this is the main concept or the main target keyword or the lead keyword, right? If we're going to try to rank for that concept, then we shouldn't try to add other keywords that necessarily don't relate. A way that we can add to that is we can add, for example, more long tail keywords. Now, not to go too deep into it, because there are some premium content that is especially for the Redbubble tag course people, the TeePublic tag course members, all these kind of members. But this is the first lesson. The first lesson is you have to understand relevancy on a certain kind of level. Understand that relevancy is going to be the first essentially dictator behind where the design shows up. Now let's use another example of how we can incorporate the concept of sales with this idea, okay? So based on this here, I can assume that this design and this design could be equally relevant to the keyword fish. In the eyes of TeePublic, this design and this design are equally relevant. Maybe one is a little more than the other, but it's not going to cause the difference between number 1 and 2. Well, then what's the difference between the first one and the second one? In this case, you have other scenarios. Same thing with Redbubble. You have other scenarios that dictate this quote-unquote relevancy. One of these dictators or one of these implications one of these things that can kind of predict for us or contribute to the concept of relevancy is sales. When an individual searches for a certain keyword on, let's say, Redbubble or TeePublic, and they see certain designs and they buy certain products, we can understand that there was a confirmation not only in relevancy, but in conceptual relevancy. Meaning, for example, when I say relevancy, I'm talking about in reference to the keywords. When I say conceptual relevancy, I'm referring to the design. We can say that if a consumer finds a design, let's just say this design, and buys it, then it's almost like a positive feedback loop for the Redbubble algorithm. The Redbubble algorithm is going to say, okay, we've presented this design because we determined that it was highly relevant. Now, not only did the design get an impression or a click, first it got an impression, then it got a click, which turns into a view, but it also got an add to cart, and then it got a checkout. Now, this creates a positive feedback loop for the Redbubble algorithm. We can also take the same exact idea and the same exact concept for Redbubble, TeePublic, right, by boosting sales. This was a concept that I've spoken about before a few times, where I basically talked about how I use Instagram to skyrocket my sales. Not only did I do this on TeePublic, not only did I do this on Redbubble, but I also did this on Merch by Amazon. For those who don't know, shout out to everybody who's in the TeePublic course and is a TeePublic course member, because we're going to be including a whole free mini course within the TeePublic course about how to get as many sales as possible with TeePublic and Instagram mashed together. Right? So we're going to show that, and that's going to also be an update within the course. But we have this concept of boosting sales. This is exactly what I did, and I did this even on Merch by Amazon at the time. What you do is you come up with a way to promote a specific design. Now, based on that design, there are certain keywords that you are electing to choose that you want your design to rank for, right? So, for example, if I create a design and I choose the keyword fish on that design, whether it be on TeePublic or on Redbubble, and I want it to rank high, what I can do is I can take that actual design and I can promote it elsewhere and start getting sales to that design. Well, immediately when I get sales, I'm not going to be on page 10 anymore or page 20. I'm going to start ranking upward. Why? Because we know that sales contributes to relevancy. Once again, remember the feedback loop concept. If Redbubble places your design, let's say, on page 2, and it's nowhere to be seen, or page 5, or page 10, it's nowhere to be seen. It contains a certain set of tags, and then all of a sudden you manage to get a sale from outside the Redbubble platform. Let's say on Instagram, for example, you drive traffic from Instagram, and your product sells. Well, this creates a negative feedback loop for Redbubble. Let me explain why. The negative feedback loop tells Redbubble, hey, this design was on page 20. It was tagged with a certain set of keywords, yet it still got a sale. We should probably most likely fix that error, not put it on page 20 and more, and move it up to page 10, to page 8, to page 9, so it gets more attention. In the same ideology, in the same notion, we can also assume that the top design gets more sales than, let's say, the design all the way on the bottom. Why can we assume that? Well, we can assume that because algorithms like Redbubble, like TeePublic, like Merch by Amazon work based off of a consecutive approach, meaning the ones that are going to be the most highly rewarded deserve to be at the top because they are determined to be not only the most relevant, but the most effective from a sales standpoint. One of the things that I want to share with you guys is when I had a clothing store and I wasn't sure what exactly was going to sell, I created a collections page very similar to the one you're seeing here. And what I did was I listed out all the products. Then what I did is I sat back and I started promoting all the products equally on Instagram. And at the time, I had about 60 Instagram accounts, and we were promoting these products in very, very heavily. And we saw what products sold versus what other products did not sell. Mind you, we promoted these products relatively equally. There wasn't one product that had a crazy advantage over another. Over time, over the course of a month, 2 months, 3 months, we saw that customers gravitated towards certain products, which is very logical to assume because human beings have interests. Not only interests, but like interests, right? Now, what happened was I said, okay, Since these products are being gravitated to the most, why don't we take them, reduce customer friction, and move the products all the way to the top? So what we did was we put a few softwares together, hired a few developers, and made sure that the products that we wanted that had the highest chance of sales all the way at the top. And we ordered them in a way where the products that get the most sales start from the top all the way to the bottom in reference to our audience. Meaning, if I had, for example, women's products on the page and I had men's products on the page, we'd separate them. We'd create a page just for women's and a page just for men. And then what we would do is we would order the products in ascending or descending order from likelihood of purchase. So this product had more likelihood than this product had more likelihood than this, all based on sales history. And then what we did was we sat back and waited. And ironically, what happened enough, and not to our surprise, but the sales of these products at the top increased even more. And the reason why they increased even more was because now the consumer friction was less and less. Any logical business owner is not going to want to hide their most valuable products, their most desired products. Well, Redbubble and TeePublic do the exact same thing. And they do this through relevancy, through algorithmic control. So their algorithm is saying, okay, let's go ahead and present products at the top that pertain or that adhere to relevancy, keyword relevancy for a specific search query. After that, let's go ahead and control based on the number of sales that those designs acquire. So for example, let's just say these top 10 designs all have the same relevancy in terms of the keywords. Let's go ahead and control a secondary approach based on how many sales they generate, right? For an example like Redbubble, well, there's another element to the equation, which is the number of favorites it receives. This is another thing that I've been telling you guys that I've been doing, which is I've been using the Redbubble favorite automator tools to favorite my own work to thereby boost the number of sales I get. I'll go ahead and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and go over here to YouTube and let's type in autopilot passive income. Okay, and I've showed this before. And we could go over here and type in, let me go ahead and pause this. Let's go ahead and type in Redbubble favorite bot. Let's go ahead and do that. Now you can see here, these two videos pertain to the Redbubble favorite tool, which is a bot or a tool that will sit there and favorite different designs for you. Now originally what the tool was designed for, and by the way, I'll just go ahead and do this again. Incognito tab, botsandapps.gumroad.com. It's right here. This is the exact tool, right? This is the tool that I've showed. This is the tool that will go out there and literally favorite other people's works for you. Now, me personally, the purpose of the tool was to favor other people's works in an effort to gain what they call reciprocal favoring, which basically means that once you favorite people's works, they're going to favorite yours back. I said I have so many Redbubble accounts that I don't need to wait for somebody to favorite my work back. I'll favorite my own work. So what I did was I took the tool and I logged into one of my accounts, and the account that I was using active for that month that I was trying to grow, I would use one of my other accounts to favorite its work. So every day when I would get, let's say, perform 60 pieces of work, and I would do this, and I'm still doing this every single day, right? I'm using the favorite tool to go out there and favorite every single piece of work. Now, I'm not doing it on this computer. This computer is for YouTube, but every single tool that's being favorited, right? Or, excuse me, let's just say this is my store. I'll just go ahead and whip this out here. Let's say this is my store. I'll take the favorite tool. I'll run the tool, right? Sort by the newest, and it will favorite the most recent posts. And when I'm doing that, what I'm basically telling the algorithm is based on my set of keywords, with my certain designs, I'm being favorited more than the competition. And that is one contributor out of many for that of Redbubble's. With TeePublic, we have a little bit different of a situation. You can see here in this section, there is no favorite button. There is no button where you could just hit like a little like button right here. Maybe they'll add that in the future. Maybe they won't. default, but that means to us that we can assume that that's not a characteristic of essentially success when it comes down to Redbubble's algorithm. But we can say that with TeePublic, with Redbubble. So hopefully this lesson helped out understanding relevancy, understanding a little bit about the algorithms between TeePublic and Redbubble. One of the biggest things and the biggest concerns that I have is when people think that you can tag the same way and behave the same way on TeePublic that you can on Redbubble. The truth is, even though these platforms are similar, there still are differences that exist, and there are differences that need to be paid attention to if you really want to succeed on these platforms. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. Majority of people, based on their behaviors and their actions, they're not really interested in succeeding. They just want quick money, fast money, easy money. And unfortunately, that behavior, that belief system seeps into the quality of their work. If an individual creates a design that really just doesn't care, they're not going to give the extra hour or maybe sit down for a little bit longer trying to truly invest time in learning what makes each platform different. They're just going to slap a bunch of tags on each design, wait for the design to sell, and if it doesn't sell, then they call the platform a scam and they move on. The truth is, guys, is that each of these platforms are different. They do have similarities. However, the differences in these platforms are really concrete enough to really cause a big difference in not only the way you behave on these platforms, but the way that you should expect to succeed on these platforms. So this was just episode 1. I'm not saying that I'm going to do episode 2 tomorrow or the day after. I'm just simply saying this is one video of many for the future where we kind of explain the differences between these two. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and talk to you guys later. Peace out. Bye.